Good evening, Tuesday night, people. Week 12, NextPiUI review. Yes, I know, it seems mad, really, that it's only been such a short period of time. But what we're going to see this evening is the gluing together of some of the bits that I've shown you sort of across the last few weeks. Hopefully you just saw the first change right there. We now have some new iconography going in at the top. So let's say if I look at this file here, you see there's a small egg timer there. That means please wait, or rather specifically the next is waiting for data from the Pi. You've seen this screen before, viewing, but I'm going to come back to the screen in a second. I'm going to pick a different file for now. Let's pick this nice one here. This is part of the Linux kernel and therefore part of NextPi. So if I open up the file with enter, and you can see the details there, 365 lines, 80 characters, line length. But if I press V to view, egg timer, waiting for data to be received from the next, we now have a text viewer. And you'll see along the bottom line there above my debug data, which, the little hashes and the colours I've announced this a few times, by the way, that's just debug data to help both me see how the contrast of things look on my real screen versus on how the contrast they look on the capture and other devices that I show them on. This is very helpful for me when I'm trying to make sure that things are legible and accessible in text-wise. So anyway, this is our text viewer. And you'll see that there's a little bit of metadata at the bottom. That will be transcribed to something that's a little bit more user-friendly and a scroll bar on the right-hand side in an upcoming version. And the text viewer is using the memory management routines from the text editor that you saw come a few weeks back. And those text editor and text management routines will be folded into NextPiUI to allow you to edit files upon the Pi. But if I press Q to quit that window for now, the other thing you'll see here is our fonts. We have a CP437 font now for the line drawing, and if I guess let's pick a different tile this time. And in fact, this time I will pick a file that's broken on purpose. NextPi.txt. This file is one line long and only 14 characters in length. But if I view it, you'll see there's a little bit of memory corruption going on there because the text viewer doesn't deal with short files yet. But if I now pick a file of a more reasonable length, dietpi.txt, because NextPi is based on dietpi, so we include their documentation. These are just files that are built into the Pi standard image that I've copied into my RAM drive to make things a little bit easier for you to see what's going on. But here you see that a number of the lines begin with chevrons, double chevron to the right. What that's telling you is that this is a wrapped around line from the line previously. So it's showing line wrap because our text viewer here is only 62 characters wide because we're staying within the bounds of the original ULA screen, even though a lot of text files could be any arbitrary length. I could have made this viewer 80 characters, and I probably will do that in the future. But if I download something nice and big, like mime.txt, you'll see that the egg timer shows for the duration of the download from the file from the Pi to the next. And if I choose to upload a file, you've seen this facility before, I'll just upload this file again, why not? You'll see that we have a little sort of transmitting thing there, which is a icon of a spinny graphic, which was file transmitting. Also, you'll see that I still haven't dealt with the case sensitivity problem here. And in that regard, I will show you another bug that I have to deal with since I'm often asked when will this be ready. There are lots of little bugs that I intentionally don't show on demos. The trick with a good demo is to orchestrate your demo so that you don't bump into bugs. So here's another one. If I was to download this file by pressing the R button, you see there it says dietpi-changelog and it wraps around in the window. And very long file names wrap even further, obscuring the progress meter. So there are lots of little, and you can see the egg timer wide in at the top there, and as it writes to the SD card, there was a little icon flashing showing SD. I'll download something else to show you that in action again. What should I download? What's the biggest file on here? Actually, that's probably the biggest file down on here, actually, rather conveniently, so I'll download it again. As you see in the top right hand corner, there's a little SD card icon that flashes as data is written to the SD, because while my Next has a convenient flashing LED via the DB Plus on my Case Next and via Richard Spencer's external SD card reader on my DevKit Next, not everyone has that visual indicator, so it's nice for you guys to all have that too. So there you see there's a bug in the uploader for file names, there's a bug in the downloader for file names, there's a bug in the text viewer. We've got lots of little bugs like this that need to be worked on in the background. Now, they are quite labour-intensive bugs, but The point being is that they need to be fixed before this is ready and can go out to the public. We also have the Linux side of this, which is the payload that will be uploaded to the Next and executed, and that too has to be tested. I will do that bug fixing and that bug testing less publicly, insofar as there's no point me just showing you an update. It's like, look, I spent several days working on a bug that looks visually identical with no real progress, but I will keep working on those things. But in that regard, for next week's video, I will probably show you something that is not NextPiUI based. I've had requests to release the Font of All Knowledge, which has some pretty showstopper bugs in there that I worked around and didn't show you when I did the demos. So I would probably work on those bugs as well. But because that's me working on two sets of bugs at the same time, which is often not very inspiring, to actually work upon and quite demotivating, I also have a series of dot commands that I've written for myself for my day-to-day development, day-to-day development dot commands, D's development dot commands, whatever you want to call them. So I've called them D3. So the other thing that has been discussed upon Discord that I should possibly release is maybe release those commands for you. Again, something that doesn't take a lot of code for me to release and show you. But I thought it would be nice if maybe I released those open source. So what I would do is, if I was going to do that, I would rewrite them and make them open source, so you could all have the source code to go with those dot commands, and therefore, while my development itches are scratched with them and yours may not be, you at least have the code to extend them and scratch your itches too. But that is really it for now. You've seen we've wired in the fonts that we've worked on and the text memory management that we've worked on across the last few weeks into NextPiUI, and I've told you what I'll be working on next in the background, and hopefully given you some interesting things to come back and look for next week, whether it is the completion of a public alpha of, public beta, I guess, maybe, I don't know, of Font of All Knowledge, or whether or not it'll be D3, my developer dot commands. Okay, and thanks for watching, and good, wonderful Tuesday night, people. I will see you next week. Cheerio, bye.